and this is part 7 of Decoding the Bible with the OAHSPE. And this series is called Decoding the Hebrew Israelites. In this vid, I'll be going into the idea and the concept of the Hebrew Israelites, dealing with the etymology of that word. Now, let's look into the word Hebrew. Now, the mention of the word Hebrew is found in Genesis chapter 14:13, where it states, "And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plains of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Anar. And these were confederate with Abraham." Now, Hebrew here is used as a title, being Abram the Hebrew. That's like saying Abram the electrician or Abram the plumber, just an example. Now, what does the word Hebrew mean? It means those who have crossed over, or those who have passed from place to place. So the word Hebrew doesn't describe a nationality, but describes an action or event similar to nomad. The word nomad refers to wanderers, similar to Hebrew. So any group of people moving from place to place can be labeled Hebrew, just like nomad. Now, in the Assyrian and Babylonian and Egyptian texts, they make mention of the Hebrews as being plunderers, soldiers, looters, warriors. And they were considered a mixed multitude of people. The same as in Exodus, where it states that a mixed multitude left Egypt, referring to the Hebrews, or those who move from place to place. Again, Hebrew describes a mixed group of people. So these people can be of any ethnic race. Now, it is said Abraham was a Hebrew, meaning that he was part of those nomadic people. Some Hebrews use the word Hebrew as a reference to nationality, which is off. Now we're going to touch on the Hebrew language. As we deciphered that the word Hebrew describes an event moving from place to place, how can that refer to a language? Now, when we look at the original Hebrew, it comes from the Phoenician. And you can find some of these glyphs in the Hebrew Phoenician alphabet and the Egyptian hieroglyphs, as seen here. So the Hebrew alphabet, so-called, is an amalgamated language, borrowing different glyphs from Egypt and Mesopotamia as well. Now let's go into the word Israel and Israelites. Now, the word Israel comes from Jacob, the son of Isaac, and the grandson of Abraham. The word Israel means Y equals he. Sra is Sar in Hebrew, which equals prince, and El equals authority. So he who rules with authority, or prince of authority. That was the name given to Jacob, or the title. So the name Israel came about when Jacob wrestled with an angel, and the angel gave Jacob a new name, being Israel. Now, historically, there is no proof of this event. Historically, there is a reference to Jacob or Yaqub, who were Hekekasut or Hyksos rulers during the ending of the Middle Kingdom. But this doesn't describe the biblical Jacob or Yaqub as in your Bible. And historically, the name Israel was discovered on the Menptah stela, where it states that the land of Israel is laid waste. So the historical evidence of Jacob or Israel is scarce in history. Now, the Israelites make up the 12 sons of Jacob, or Israel. There has been rare evidence of the 12 tribes in history, as described in the Bible. The time period that the 12 tribes were dividing the land for themselves was during the time of the New Kingdom of Egypt. And there is no mention of the 12 tribes by name, but there is mention of the Hebrews plundering the land as described in the Amarna letters of Egypt and Babylon during the New Kingdom. The land of Canaan was under the control of the Egyptian pharaohs of the New Kingdom at that time. And again, there's no mention of 12 tribes during the New Kingdom of Egypt, where they would have had a record of nationalities of peoples at that time. They do not mention any of the 12 tribes, but they do mention Hebrews, which is not a nationality, but just a nomadic people moving from place to place. And again, the Hebrews are mentioned in the Assyrian text, but no mention of the 12 tribes. Now, the closest proof of at least one of the tribes of Israel can be verified on the black obelisk of Assyria, where it shows the tribe of Judah going into captivity. And it shows the king Jehu, or Yehu, a Judean king, bowing to the feet of the Assyrians. So this is proof of at least the tribe of Judah. Now, according to OAHSPE, Israel represented oral tradition. Israel equals oral, as stated in the book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 10 and 11, where it states, verse 10, "As for the Oralites, so-called, because their doctrines and teachings were sacred and only spoken, being taught man to man and woman to woman, orally. They were non-resistant, and they owed nothing, giving all things to the rabbis for the public good. Their practice was love and harmony, doing righteousness in all things, trusting to Jehovah, whom they worshipped under the name Eoah. All the prophets and seers were born of the Oralites. Verse 11. And so great was the spiritual power of the Oralites that during all these hundreds of years, the faithless 6 million had lived without kings or governors, being a multitude of communities. So here is the description of Israelites in OAHSPE. They're referred to Oralites, followers of oral tradition. Now this would make more sense than Jacob wrestling with an angel and changing his name to Israel. We have no verification of this in history, but we do have verification of oral traditions in history. And here's a description of the so-called Israelites being followers of oral tradition and labeled Oralites. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on the next documentary called Decoding Moses and the Torah. Shalom.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Israel. This is my channel where I try to share, try to look for other like-minded brethren who spiritually minded. You just have one desire. You just want to draw near to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You want to love not the world. You just want to try to redeem the time. You want to store up treasure. You realize that this reality is for a reason, and you concluded that it's for you to bear fruit to the Creator, realizing that you are preparing your spiritual eternity by the things that you do in this reality. So before I begin, I want to acknowledge the angels of the rising and the angels of the evening, found in this book right here, the Essene Gospel of Peace. The angels of the rising, which is the daytime, and the angels of the evening. So today, being Wednesday rising, that would be the angel of the sun. Angel of the sun. Oh, no. Angel of life. Angel of the sun. Angel of the sun. And on the fifth rising after Sabbath, say these words. So we're going to say these words 3 times together on 3. The highlighted words. You have to be looking at the screen. The highlighted words. Let's say this 3 times together on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Angel of sun, enter my body, let me bathe in the fire of life. Again, 1, 2, 3. Angel of sun, enter my body and let me bathe in the fire of life. Again, 1, 2, 3. Angel of sun, enter my body and let me bathe in the fire of life. And we read, and you will feel the rays of the rising sun enter into the center point of your body. There in the center, where the angels of day and of night mingle, and the power of the sun shall be yours to direct to any part of your body, for the angels dwell therein. And then this evening is going to be the angel of wisdom, or angel of love. Angel of love. Angel of love. Oh, those are daytime angels. Okay. And on the 5th evening after Sabbath, say these words. So we're going to say these words together on 3. Say these words together on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Angel of love, descend on me and fill with love all my feelings. Again. 1, 2, 3. Angel of love, descend on me and fill with love all my feelings. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Angel of love, descend on me and fill with love all my feelings. And we read, for it is by love that the Heavenly Father and the earthly mother and the Son of Man become one. Love is eternal, love is stronger than death, and every night should the sun's light bathe in the holy water of the angel of love, that with the morning you may baptize the sons of men with kind deeds and gentle words. For when the heart of the Son of Light is bathed in love, only kind and gentle words speak forth. So, again, brethren, I want to welcome you to my channel. I try to just share things that I'm learning that may help you grow and elevate in your spirit as you try to draw near to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have a room where you can come, you can have fellowship and try to redeem the time yourself and store up, which is the ultimate, the life for anybody who is seeking to live your highest self, either in this reality or in the spiritual one to come. We want to, if you're spiritual, if you find you have the ability to be spiritual and you can believe, and then you realize that you are, that this is not all there is. Now, my room is just another way for you to store up to redeem the time. You can, if you believe, you can receive the OAHSPE. I renamed it Upper Room OAHSPE Bible Community, because I'm really trying to search and invite you, brethren, to join. I was looking for a place to join, and I haven't been able to find somewhere, and so I'm trying to reach out to brethren, my brethren, that I finally found you after. Well, I don't know if you. Well, no, it's I finally found you, because I've only just come into this truth this month, and I've really grown in my spirit, my learning, my understanding, and I realize how important it is for us to get together, because I look at other brethren, their videos. I think the teachings that brethren who are trying to share from the OAHSPE Bible is out of this world. I really believe I mean, I don't see how you don't pay for those videos. I mean, the information is just out of this world for me. It helps me to understand that some of you brethren have an election on you. You know, that's one of the reasons why I want to do this video, is because it's heavy on me. It's really heavy on me to show you that this is how the Creator God separates. Remember the story of what is it? The And at the end of the age, I shall send the angels, and they shall separate the wheat from the tares. King James Version. It's obvious to me that this is what's going on now. And I'm sure it probably has been for some time. We've entered what's known as the Cosman era. The Cosman era, it's a period of time where things are going to change, to put it plain and simple. Things are going to change. And I perceive that many brethren are not going to be ready. That means you're not going to be unable to let go of old beliefs. You're going to cling to the understanding that you have been taught in your life up till now. And there are brethren who are going to be able to move with the winds of the Spirit. The Cosmic era, that began, as far as I know from my brethren, that began in 1848. The Cosmic era, universal knowledge, and body, corpora means body, and body and spirit, universal fellowship in all nations. Now you can understand why I'm like a excited pet wagging his tail crazy, because when you look at the confluence of events, like you look at Pluto went into Aquarius on January 20th. It was something that astrologers were talking about for like the last 15 years. They were looking at that one date. A lot of them were pointing to that. It happened just 3 or 4 days ago. It means a change, basically. Bottom line, it means a change. I think it represents the kingdom of God on earth as it is in heaven. I think it represents the motion, the putting in motion, the accelerating, because really it began last year. In March, I think it was it March or May? I think it was March of 2023. Pluto went into Aquarius, it dropped some seeds, and then it went back out into Capricorn. Because the way it works is planets, they go into different astrological houses like a pendulum. You know, they come in, go back out, they come in a little longer, they go back out, and then they go in and stay in. And it's the same way now. And this time period, Pluto actually is going to come back out into Capricorn in November, but it's going to go right back in like November 19th, or does it go in October? Is it October 1st, and then it stays out till November? It's that period of time, for that duration. Pluto is going to go back into this year. But by then, you got to know that the whole world is going to know that we're in a different reality, that things have changed. By then, we are going to realize that something has changed. I don't know what's going to happen. Me personally, I hope it's the harvest. I hope it is the harvest for brethren who are ready. Brethren who are ready to graduate from the earth. Now, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know that it's on my spirit. It's definitely on my spirit. A couple things to tell you. You brethren, you got a decision to make. Let me go back to my room. I'll scroll it so you can get an idea of the things that we share in the room. Now, very simply, the thing that I'm positive is being given to me to share with anyone who will listen. You got a decision to make. Every single one. This is how the Creator God, Jehovah, is going to separate the wheat from the tares. He's going to make it very simple. Very simple for anyone listening. He's going to simply ask you, who's your God? Who is your God? That's something, I mean, you got to answer. You're going, in spite of what you believe, he's going to say, now, I have to say that I have to qualify that. I perceive that the Creator God is going to separate. He's going to separate between wheat and tares. And I'm speculating right now that it's going to surround the issue of who is your God. Who is your God? And depending on your answer, is going to that will how do I say this? Then that is your fate. That will be your fate. If you say, I mean, let me paint a picture. It's better if I could just paint a picture with you. You know what I mean? I mean, you go to a big temple, and then they say, "What's the password?" And then you say, "Christian." And the guard says, "Oh, I'm sorry. You have to go down the street and knock on that door over there." And you look over and you see a bunch of people in line going into a temple. You see a guard saying, "What's the password?" And they say, "Christian." And then he opens the door, and then there you go inside. And you realize when you're standing in line that the people, they realize they've been deceived, but it's too late. And on top of that, you can't get out of the line. You have to stay in the line. You have to give them the answer that you was going to give them before you found out that you were going into deception. And so it helps me. I'm just trying to paint a picture of the serious, sober time that you brethren are living in. You're going to have to make a decision. I'm telling you right now. If someone listens to this broadcast, I'm telling you, it seems the Creator God is allowing me to know there is going to be a separation, and how He's going to do it is by simply asking you, who is your God? Now, to put it plain and simply, you answer anything other than the Creator or Jehovah or the All High, something to that effect. If you show that you worshiping a deity, you're going to get a deity's recompense. You know how the scripture says, "Thou shalt not make a graven image of anything in heaven above or earth beneath." It's talking about idolatry. "Thou shalt, no idols before me." It's a commandment. "Thou shalt not have any idols before me," representation or image or anything in heaven above, earth beneath. And many brethren, from what I could see, from my perspective, if I were to ask you, or someone were to ask you in an unguarded moment, who do you believe in? You would say the God of the Bible. I say that because I'm looking at these videos because I'm trying to learn. I'm a brother trying to run as fast as he can in the short time that he has left, because I've been deceived all the way up until now. I consider everything, all that I've learned up until now. I wouldn't say everything, but I am a brother who considers that everything that I have learned up until now has been dung, no good, worth nothing. And I've written 8 books, and I don't. If you notice, I mean, in my mind, I don't even count them as anything, because it was based on Christian, or actually on Hebrew Israelite understanding. And now I don't even promote them as much as I should. That's the seriousness I think that we as a people are under. I mean, any and everybody, all over the world, globally. I think that the Creator God, Jehovah, has shown me how he's going to separate. He's going to force you. You're going to be forced to make a decision. One way or another, you're going to ascribe faith to your God. Now, I am led to do these videos to talk about false gods because the OAHSPE is the only Bible that's going to tell you whether you're in deception or not. Very simply, it makes it very simple, man. If you're involved in man worship, God worship, you're deceived. You're deceived. The OAHSPE praise God. It makes it simple, just the way I like it. That's the way I like it, man. Nice and simple. And it makes it simple. If you are under man worship, you are deceived. You're worshiping a deity. And Christianity, Bible believing is strong, man. Looking at these videos, looking at some of you Hebrew Israelites. Did you see the video I played before I came on live? That brother. Did you see how when I listen to him, I'd be ashamed of myself. I'd be so ashamed at my lack of study. How the brother was talking about the meaning of actually, let's do it. Let me see. Let's do it online. Let's find out something. What is the definition of Hebrew? A member of an ancient people living in what is now Israel, Palestine, okay, see, this is problematic. Because the brother said that the definition that I was looking at, and I clicked off of it. So anyway, the brother that Selah Shalom on YouTube, he said that it means a wandering people, basically. And I'm not going to get that on Google. I think that I don't know what language he was referring to for the definition, but he said it means a wandering people, nomadic people. Here it says a member of an ancient people living in what is now Israel and Palestine, according to biblical tradition. Descended from so they don't even know what the meaning of the Hebrew is. I trust that brother more than I trust something like this. I trust his definition. I have to go back and find out what he was. Let me see if there's something else. See here, it says member or the Semitic language. So I have to ask that brother because I believe his definition. It meant nomadic people. It meant like a moving people. And I don't think I'm going to find that if I go to Google. I have to get his source. I'm going to get his source from him. But I trust his definition that it means a nomadic people, a wandering people. And I can't go into it right now, but I do believe the brother. And so, I lost some point. What was I trying to point to? What was I trying to get on? Let me see the meaning of Hebrew and Israelite. It has a spiritual meaning according to the OAHSPE. It just means those who are drawing near, those who choose the Creator, those who are in their right thinking, holy thinking. Let me. I didn't expect to go into it like this, but let's do it. Israelite. The video that I was showing. Oh shoot! It copied it. Oh, stop it. Do it again. I think that there's been a real lack of study amongst our own people. Israelite. I think there's been a lack of a devastating lack of study. I think we've been duped, and well, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, is I I'm trying to get to the what I see is the biggest problem, and that is worshiping deities. And a deity is described as anything born of woman. Worshiping, we're praying to, leading others to, that sort of thing. Um, you pretty much have in your mind what a deity is. People pretty much know that if someone were to say to them, hey, is your God a deity? To say no, no, man, no, because they know it means something less than the creator God, Jehovah. So they know that, that word has enough of a stigma on it for people to stay away from, even though they still could be doing it. And so I'm believing that I'm under a heavy unction to try to warn brethren in case you are under idolatry or you are worshiping a deity and you don't even know it. Now, one thing that the OAHSPE does that I really love is that it makes some really bold claims. It don't let you stay on the fence. Now, as I'm talking, I'm looking for the definition of the Israelites, and I don't see anything that I want to really use. Okay, let me see. You can follow along with me as I try to search for a good definition of Israelites. And I just want to show us that the meaning of the Israelites, according to the OAHSPE, is a global word, and it refers to brethren who are right thinking so far as the creator God. They have right thoughts. And let me see. Now you're looking at the screen with me, I hope, and you can read along as I'm looking for a good definition of the meaning of an Israelite. Now, if I don't find anything that I can use real good, then I'm just going to leave off of it and go on with the video. Now, it makes a lot of allusions to the people of God, but I'm looking for the definition that says they are non-ethnic, they are global, and the word refers to brethren who are in their right manner of thinking. Now, again, I've been the OAHSPE. I like what it says about if brethren go about and they do good to other brethren, you just go about doing good with your life. You go about you just got this DNA in you where you get a real good kick out of helping people. You like to that puts you on a spiritual high. I like the way the OAHSPE says that if a man is like that and he don't even know the creator's name, he's not like I don't know how maybe I don't know how you would say it, like real like spiritual. He goes about doing good works like that. Creator calls that person his chosen. He calls them his chosen. I just happen to have a situation where I'm called to minister to my brethren. And so that means that I have to have a certain degree of knowledge to be able to share with you because they're brethren on that level. We need knowledge in order to encourage us to keep going, to believe. Okay, so I'm not really finding what a good down pat celebration. I could go to the Third Testament probably, and it'll point you to. Uh, I can't remember if it makes a definition for the Israelites. I know it calls believers spiritualists. Same thing, really, is what the OAHSPE Bible calls the children, the sons and daughters. You're even called oralites somewhere in the OAHSPE. Now, I'm not finding I want a good old definition. I want something that says the Israelites are people who think rightly about the Creator God. Something to that um, something to that effect. So I'm not really. You can read, but I don't. I want. I'm not finding what. Okay, let's see what this says. It says, for this is the meaning of faith from which ye were named Israelites." Okay, do we have something here? And thou shalt say to them, whosoever hath faith in Jehovah, okay, let him give up all, even as I do, and let them follow me. For if multitude go forth in faith in the Father, then will the Father provide unto them. For this is the meaning of faith from which you were named Israelites. Okay, we got a little something here. Let's go up and get a little context. It says, verse 30, Moses said, "My people will ask of me, by whose authority speakest thou? What then shall I answer them?" See, now let me see. I'm afraid, I want to go up, but I'm going to lose where I'm at. Now, just reading this, it's giving the account. It sounds like Moses before Pharaoh, or it sounds like when he's being called. Now, this is going to be an interesting thing. This is going to be interesting. Let me read it first and then make a comment on it. That's wisdom. Let's read it first and then let's see what's up. Okay, now here we see Moses. Moses responding to, it has to be the angel of the Lord. Now, let me hold my tongue on what I want to say and just read first. It says, "My people ask me, why whose authority speakest thou? What then shall I answer them?" The voice said, "Say thou to them, the I am sent me. And if they question further, saying, thou hast a deceiving spirit like the Egyptians, then shalt thou say to them, how can ye distinguish one spirit from another?" Now, you know what? I want to stop right there for a second. Faithists can do it. A faithist, the OAHSPE Bible, you brother can do it. See? You see how he puts a question to Moses? And incidentally, this is not the Creator God talking to Moses. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the Creator God. It is an angel sent from a false God. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but this is an account in the Bible. Yeah, now you're getting it. See? Do you see why now many people are not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to get away from worshiping a deity? You ain't going to have the power to do it, because when the Bible gets exposed, it's already being exposed, you're not going to be able to break with it. You just, that's where the separation is going to come from. You're going to have to get on one side or another. You're going to have to. And I love it that way. I have to get on my side. You have to get on your side. Because a lot of people like to think, well, I'm going to just hang out in the background and then I'm going to make the kingdom by default. No, you won't. You're going to go to your God. You know, you can look at the world. The world's the same way. Why don't you try that with your wife? You know, here you are. You got a choice. You got two women. You got a woman, she don't look so good as the other woman, but she's your wife. You better claim her, you know. You don't want to. See, you want the other woman because maybe you're not in love with your wife. What if, now that's not such a good example. But you catch my drift. I'm trying to say you're going to make a decision. I want to emphasize that. I'm looking at these videos, and you brothers are debating with OAHSPE brethren, and some of you OAHSPE brethren, you shouldn't be debating. You should not be. You shouldn't put the OAHSPE out there like it's some game show. Winning debates. You really shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't be like that because people are going to go into. They don't know. A lot of people get off on debates. They look at it as entertainment, but they don't really. I've been noticing it doesn't seem like any fruit gets born. People get on one side or the other, and it's for carnals. It's for stupid reasons. It's like a ball game. People start cheering for one side or the other, and you don't realize it apply to you. It apply to you. What we're talking about, what me and my OAHSPE brethren are talking about, it affect you, whether you like it or not. See, this is where the angels are being sent, and they're separating the wheat from the tares. Those are OAHSPE brethren. They are the ones, they are sent, we are sent, and we are separating the wheat from the tares. How are we doing that? We're asking you, who is your God? How can you distinguish one spirit from another? An OAHSPE brother can answer that. An Israelite can answer that too. They can speculate, and they would still be under their deity. Jesus Christ or the Bible, that's the deity of the Hebrew Israelites. That's their deity. That's man self worship. See, I just give thanks for my brethren, man, because they are arming me, they are teaching me, and I'm trying to swallow it up. I love to stay up day and night, man, learning as much as I can. They taught me about the Levites, the Levitical law, the OAHSPE talks about them, how the nation was given. There really were two laws. There were the Levitical laws, which were condemned by the Creator, and then there were the Oralites, which is who you brethren are. You brethren who are able to believe in the Creator and his ability to give revelation, as he's doing right now with this word, giving revelation, and the Oralites are able to receive it because we were under the oral tradition, even all the way back when, however far you want to go. We were under an oral tradition. You faithists, you spiritualists, you Israelites. Isn't it amazing? Man, you got to really, you really got to give praise to the Creator for the way he can have a people and he can deal with a group of people within a people and the other people not even know it. Not even know it, man. Israelites. And there are those who are faithists within one nation, not like faithists are only Negroes. Faithists are all people. They're in India, they're in Europe, they're in Africa, they're all over the world. They're called faithists. We're being called by another name. We're spiritualists, we're oralites, we're Israelites. We can distinguish one spirit from another. It's easy. It's easy. Hey, who is your God? ISIS. That's worshiping a deity. That is idolatry. That is idolatry. Who's your God? Hindu. That's idolatry. Who's your God? Islam, that's idolatry. Who's your God? Brahma, that's idolatry. We trying to, and we're being sent right now. We're being sent, and the purpose of our being sent is we are separating the wheat from the chaff. That's all we're doing. It ain't nothing personal, man. It is nothing personal. We're basically by giving you this information and saying, well, we're not really telling you to make a decision. We're just going to give you the information. We've already made our decision. We're on the side of the OAHSPE Bible, okay? I'm just making it clear. Now, that's a decision that I have to, that is a decision that I have to accept the consequences for. That is my personal decision. I can resonate with this word. Up until now, we only had the Bible. You had no choice. You had no knowledge of whether you were forced to be under idolatry. We were forced to be under idolatry. And it was for the purpose of the creator of Jehovah to separate, that he was going to use it in this period of time to separate wheat from chaff, because there was going to, that we, the faithists, you spiritualists, you oralites, you Israelites, there was always going to be other spirits that would cling to us. And they were going to have to make an attempt to cling to us, by giving themselves laws, statutes, commandments, the Levitical laws, which the Creator God, did you know he condemns that? Did you know he condemns the Levitical law? Because the letter killeth and the spirit maketh alive. It binds you. You love it. For some reason, people like to be flogged. It's an amazing thing, the human being. It's like, and you know what? Even I'm kind of guilty of that, because my friends know. I tell my friends, hey man, I don't like to be flattered. I don't like good things to be said about me. And all my life, I remember one girl she used to love to make fun of me. We would get around other people and she would say, don't say anything nice to him. It was like a joke to her. And I didn't mind. It's like, I was telling the truth, and I'm telling the truth. I don't like that. I would rather be criticized. Then I believe you telling me the truth. It's a funny quirk and personality, I guess. I don't know, but that's the way it is with me, And what was my point? We're being called to a decision, and we can't get away from it. We cannot get away from it. How can you distinguish one spirit from another? And they will say, now, the reason why I'm reading this is because I was looking for a definition for a good OAHSPE definition about the Israelites. And I want to show how it is a worldwide, it's an ethnic-less people. I mean, everybody's got an ethnicity, you know what I mean? But the kingdom of God, the spirit, is not if they are anything, they are Israelites, faithists, spiritualites. They are not a particular population group, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Where you could identify them as according to their shell, their body, And I'm trying to show, I found this definition here where it talked about people of faith, and it led me back to get the context of leading up to that part of this verse here. So now we're here talking. We see an account of Moses being spoken to by an angel. It's in the Bible. This is the OAHSPE account, and I'm trying to just lead up to better understanding of how it uses Israelites later on in the verse here. So let's go on. It says, by whose authority thou, or people will ask of me, by whose authority speakest thou? What then shall I answer them? The voice said, now the voice is the angel of the Lord. See, you'll read that, you'll automatically think it's talking about the Creator God. That's what we've been taught. It's a form of gaslighting. You know, people, when people, they say things and they lead you to think the obvious conclusion is this, and it's not true. Called gaslighting. It says, Moses said, my people will ask me, by whose authority speakest thou? What then shall I ask them? The voice. See, the voice. In the Bible, I think it says, matter of fact, I don't know if I'm going to get out of this for this video. But Moses said to God, see there? Now we read that, we think it's talking about the Jehovah. Guess what? This is not Jehovah speaking. This is not Jehovah speaking. Why do I say that? Because you have to go into the OAHSPE. It'll take me a long time. And, you know, I'm going to, I mean, I can show, but it takes a while. I want to stay on point of deities and false gods. As I go, I'm going to be making my points anyway. But Moses said to God, see, we read that and we go to sleep. If I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you. So there, Moses is like, he's helping with the gaslighting. He don't even know it. He says, if I say to them, the God of your ancestors, he says that to people, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. He said further, thus you shall say to the Israelites. Okay? So the point that I'm trying to make here is we read that, we have no idea that he was speaking to an angel of a fallen God. And I think, let's see, what was his name? Anuhajah? Was that his name? Was it Anuhajah, or who else could it have been? It wouldn't have been Luamal. I think he came later on. So anyway, let's go on. It says, and thou shalt say to them, or let me go back up. It says, and they will say, who laboreth, and they will say, whosoever laboreth for himself will deceive us. And now I like that because that's true. The OAHSPE, the account of Moses speaking to the angel, this is really something else because that's true. You know, there are things you have to be able to see spiritually. You have to, when you read the OAHSPE, if you don't have a certain degree of common sense, then it's going to be hard on you. You know, you have to have a little bit of common sense. You know, the OAHSPE, it gives you a lot of detail, but it don't give you everything. It kind of leaves some things hanging out there for you to put two and two together. And what they say here, that's just a true statement. If they say, or it says, and they will say, whoso laboreth for himself will deceive us. So it's like, if it's a false God, then they ain't gonna mind lying about who they are. Yeah, they're gonna say they're the angel of the Lord. Yeah, they're gonna say that they are the angel that was with us back in Egypt. Yeah, they're gonna say all those things. How can we prove it? That's what they asking of Moses. But the angel knows how to answer them. See, he knows that the Oralites, we're going to spiritually just be able to know. That's why a lot of you brethren, you Israelites, you're going to have trouble because, see, you desire a source. You know, what does that say in Hebrews? I got to read this. I'm sorry. What does it say? For the Greeks desire wisdom and Hebrew desires a sign, King James Version. What what does that verse say? For the Jews require a sign. Okay? 1 Corinthians 22. See, there's a difference between our nation. The Hebrew Israelite, there's a difference. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. And it's cool. It's cool. You know, Paul, he was under he worshipped a deity. He worshipped a deity. But look here, we preach Christ. But the Jews require a sign. The Oralites, we had an oral tradition. We had an oral tradition. We were called Oralites. Our faith, it went from person to person. That's why it's easy for you faithists, you Israelites, it's easy for you to hear this word for some reason. It's easy, man. You don't really need all of that proof. You got the it resonates with you automatically. It resonates with you. It says, but the Jews, what does it say? It says, but the Jews require a sign and the Greeks seek wisdom, King James Version. It says, but the Jews require a sign for confirmation. Now, that's, it's kind of a fine line here because that's what this response is really. And I perceive that it's also referring to the faithists. This statement here, and they will say, whoso labors for himself will deceive us. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. They're being skeptical. They're trying to test the spirit. And I think that it's both Levitical brethren, law brethren, and Oralites that made this statement. And they will say, whoso labors for himself will deceive us. If he's got his own agenda, he'll say anything he wants to us and it'll deceive us. But the angel is ready. Look what he says. And thou shalt say to them, whosoever hath faith in Jehovah. See, now he's lying. He knows what to say to get the people to dupe the people, to dupe really the Oralites. And they fell for it. Whosoever hath faith in Jehovah, even he's already misled them into thinking that he was from. This was a fallen angel speaking. Now, I'm sorry for right now, because I got to just refer you to this account in the OAHSPE Bible, and it's going to take you a lot of reading, a lot. If you're unable to get it, to get the unction of it, it's going to take you a lot of reading. Now, go back, look at some of my videos, or go look at other OAHSPE brethren. Find a subject where it talks about the difference between the Bible and the OAHSPE, and get on the road to learning. It's not the purpose of this video right now to go back and show you the difference between the OAHSPE brethren and the religious brethren, Levitical law brethren, ways of the false gods and lords. Can't do that right now. The angel says, whosoever hath faith in Jehovah, let him give up all that even as I do, and let them follow me. And nobody thinks to ask him, who are you? He's gaslighting the people. It's hard to get to, it's hard, man, if someone is gaslighting you, they're faking you out, it's hard to know what they're doing to you. It is very hard, man. He don't mind lying. You know, this angel who's talking to Moses, he don't mind lying. He says, for if a multitude go forth in faith in the Father, then will the Father provide for them. For this is the meaning of faith from which ye are named Israelites. And so here he's saying, he's telling them everything that they need to hear. The oralists in the nation here, they're saying there ain't no way that he would lie against the Father. See, we say the same thing today. That's how we got duped. You oralists, we got duped. We thought that the Druges, that's a group of people who are unenlightened, they are religious, they are Asu people, Adam people. We never thought that they would lie about the Father. And we got duped. An angel, a false god, a fallen angel, they will certainly lie on the Father. You know, look at men. Men will certainly lie. They will lie. You know, I read a story, and you hear this all the time in the government, man. You know, I read a story, man, about Tony Blinken in the State Department of the government. I mean, these are people who, they affect your life. And these people in power and government, man, they don't mind. They don't have no character. They do not mind cheating, stealing to get what they want, to get power. And the State Department, the guy who, what's his name, Secretary of the State, I think his name is Tony Blinken. Look at this guy, man. I want to show you this guy. I want to put his face up on the screen. An Aries. Tony Blinken. No, he's an Aries. Tony Blinken. Look at now this guy here, man. As an example of someone who will cheat. He will cheat. His character ain't no good. It ain't no good. Now, he works for the president. He worked to get the president elected, Joe Biden, right? There was a big news item, okay, right before a debate. There was a big news item. It would have changed the whole debate if the truth had gotten out. They knew that the truth wasn't going to get out in time, so they used it in the debate. Now, what happened, there was a report that said that the president's son, his laptop, it was Russian disinformation, right? Russian disinformation, because the Democrats were trying to use the laptop to sink the Biden campaign, Joe Biden's campaign, right? And so what this dude here that you're looking at on the screen, what he did is he was able to get together a group of 50 CIA agents and have them make a statement that the laptop was Russian disinformation and not to worry about it. It was just an attempt by Russia to sink the Biden campaign, right? Come to find out, now everybody knows now, and you know what? I got to be careful. I don't know what YouTube will do to me. I got to think about this. Okay. How do I say it? Now, the president's son's laptop had a lot of damning information on it. It showed that his son did drugs, showed that he liked to get down with prostitutes, showed that he was corrupt, showed that he was involved with money laundering. That's what the accusation was. So what this dude here did was he got a bunch of agents to say, no, that's not true, it's not true. And then on the debate, the president, he said that report, as soon as Trump brought it out, the president said, I have here in my hand a report that says that that laptop was Russian disinformation. And then come to find out after the debate, it was true. It was true. But it was too late. The debate was over. They all knew that it was going to come out at a time where it'd be forgotten about and nobody wouldn't really care about it, you know. And it's just a way, it's just a little example to show you of the corruption, the demonism in people who they don't mind, they don't have faith. They don't believe in, they don't have no spirituality, you know. We live in a world like that. And you oral lights, you spiritual lights, you Israelites, you children of God, see, that's foreign to us. That's kind of weird to us because we think, you mean you would lie to the Father's face like that? You know, this reality that we are in, it's a constant source. It is a constant source of amazement. It's a constant source of amazement. Let me see, I need to assign a name for people who are not Israelites, people who are not spiritualites, people who are not faithists. I need to assign a name to them. Let me go to the glossary. I need a name for these people. What? Let me see. Where? Oh, there it is right there. A druck. A druck. A druck. A druck. A druha. A druha. A druck. A druck. A druha. A druck. A low mortal, one who he desires no spiritual light, one who cannot understand spiritually, an evil man, a warrior, a druge. The same as a druck to a mortal, low, dark, evil, dangerous. People who do not, they can't, you know what? It's even really deeper than that, man. What I'm finding, you could be, again, I don't know, man. It's just faithists or Israelites who they were under the oral tradition and they were apart from the nation that was under the Levitical law. So Israelites, I'm just trying to look at Israelites. So let me see. Let me go ahead and let's do the reading of the word. Let me see if anyone's in the room so I can greet you. Then the reading of the word. The title of the video is False Gods. And I got a real burden. Hi, Olivia. Me and you again. Me and you. Get used to it. You know, OAHSPE said that we're going to be in the minority until I don't know when, until the word, it explodes over the world. People always learn when it's too late, but I'm glad to see you. It's good to see you. The reading is I'm going to try to really make a clear distinction. Well, not me. I'm just learning, but I'm going to really be attempting. Good to see you, Olivia. I'm going to go into the reading now, okay? I hope that you're blessed. Good to see you. So I'm going to try to make the point to revisit what I'm trying to do. I want to show that most people are under false gods. You're under idolatry. You're under a deity, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. And from what I understand, we're under a time of the separation of wheat and tares. I don't know how long it's been going on. I would have to think ever since the Creator allowed this word to come out. I have to think, I don't know, it could be when the Cosman era begun, 1848. I don't know, but I know the situation in the world leads me to think that we are in a very, very perilous time, very, very perilous time that we are going to witness the end of the children of men, and people who believe you're going to escape are going to be caught up, and you do not know why, and you do not know how to get out of it. That's the most important thing right now by far. You look around though, and all people, all our nation, the Hebrew Israelites, want to do is talk about petty words and etymologies. You want to talk, a lot of you Israelites, you so-called leaders, you really, I'm embarrassed for you. I'm really embarrassed the way you condemn the OAHSPE, and it's obvious you haven't even read a lot of it, if any of it. You haven't even read it. You're like a junkyard dog, and all they know how to do is oppose any and everything. They start barking at it, showing their teeth, and you're not subject to reasoning. You won't sit down. I'm telling you, why do you think it's impossible for a fallen God to give you a Bible? Why do you think that's impossible? See, that's if it wasn't for this OAHSPE Bible, we would all be serving a deity. A deity. Spirits that pass on become gods and lords and angels. Did you know that? Did anybody know that? Spirits that pass on, they don't. Spirits that pass on become lords and gods and angels. All of us. After we leave this reality, we don't die. Your spirit don't die. It goes on and on and on. And there's corrupt spirits. There are fallen spirits. They come back in the form of a God or a Lord or an angel. And they may start out righteous, ruling over men, and then they make the decision. They make the decision to turn. Some don't, some do. That's the story in a nutshell. And the issue, the most important issue for this day and age is to make sure that you are not worshiping a deity. Because if you are, then you're going to receive the recompense for idolatry. You are going to, whatever word comes out of your mouth, when you are asked that question, who is your God? We all should be asking that question right now. Now, it's so loaded, I think that most people, they know how to answer it. They'll say, the Most High, and they'll mean the Creator. They'll say, the Creator, and that's the right answer. But in your heart, you know if your God is Jesus Christ, your God is Mohammedanism, your God is Brahmin or Judaism. You know in your heart, do you look at the Bible as the Word of God? What would your answer have been months before you heard this? See, I'm telling you, man, the Creator, He making it very easy. All He's got to do is ask you that. For you Christians, that's all He's got to do. Tell me, what is the Word of God? And you're going to say Bible. You're gonna say, and you know you are. You're gonna say the Bible, and then the Creator's gonna say, "When did I say that the Bible was my word? Show me where I said that." Right here, John chapter 1. The Word was made flesh. Okay, since you're so smart, tell me who was the archangel over that period of time? And okay, I'll give it to you. You say Anuhaja. And then the Creator says, what did I say about Anuhaja? Or what did I say about Luamong? You know, you say Luamong, I'll give you that. You say Luamong. Okay, I think it was Luamong who was the archangel over the children of men at the time of the establishment of Christianity. Okay, you say, okay, the archangel was Luamong. And then the Creator says, what did I say about Luamong in the OAHSPE Bible? And then you say, I don't know. Or, okay, I'll give it to you. You say he was a fallen God. And then the Creator says, well, why would you say that that is my word when it was a fallen God that gave it to you? See, now you're stuck. Now, I don't mean to fearmonger anybody, but the case that I just made is very valid. Don't you see how it makes all the sense in the world for the children of God to be set up only to come out of their deception, showing, glorifying the Creator far more, showing the world that no matter what you do to the sons and daughters, all the deception you put them under, as soon as the shepherd calls for them, they're going to come out of it. Why can't you understand the big plan? Why, how come you can live and not realize that you're a spiritual being and somewhere whoever created all this has got the power to give me the truth, has got the power to resonate with me, to show me who I am. We were under the oral tradition. That's part of our DNA, man. I mean, we can hear the Creator. Now, I used to hear the Bible, and I thought that that was the Creator. But then the Creator, the Father, He spoke to me through this word, through the Third Testament, and immediately I heard it. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but I do know this. I've made my decision, and you're going to make your decision. You're going to make a decision. That's what I love. You can't sit on the fence. And people in this reality, they like to hide in the crowd. They like to be non-committal. Not with this. Each and every single spirit is going to confess Jesus is Lord or the Creator God. You're going to fall on one side or another. You're going to say, Jesus is Lord. You're going to say, ISIS is Lord. You're going to say, El is Lord. You're going to say, Muhammad is Lord. Brahman is Lord. You're going to say, and you don't know, you're going to be saying really, Luamong is Lord. And Ahaja is Lord. That's what you really, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. That's why I'm doing these videos. And it's a shame that the Creator's using me Because, and really, you know, the brethren that I'm learning from brethren and sisters, create faithists, and they don't they don't receive any attention either. You know, they don't. So I'm not what's going on with me. It lets me know it's par for the course. You know, it seems that the OAHSPE, it says the same thing about how his word, it was always going to be that way. So I don't feel so bad. But I am trying to find you fellow brethren. I got a room on Facebook. I wish you would send me a friend invite, and let's redeem the time together. So let's go ahead with the study. Don't let me click off on it. Don't let me click. And I clicked off on it. And really, that is not by accident when that type of stuff. Oh, nope, I didn't. Good. All right, let's look at verses concerning false gods. Let's look at false gods. The false gods, kingdoms, the false gods, kingdoms, beginning of oracles. Okay, let's see. Let's look at some verses here. False gods. Okay. Jehovah said, my son. And, you know, Jehovah, creator, he has many sons. They become gods. Some rebel, you know, prodigal son. Others don't. Here he said, my son, put a wall of pillars of fire around about the land of Waga. That was Pan. That was a continent that was sunk right off the Pacific Ocean. And I have seen images of it too. I've seen images of it. You can see go online. Atlantis, I think it was called. A synonym. Pan. Waga. Jehovah said, my son, put a wall of pillars of fire around the land of Waga. Plant them near as a hedge is planted. For the false gods and false goddesses of Hada, when perceiving their habitation going down into the water, will endeavor to escape to Jude and Bohu and other countries. So, the sinking of Pan, because it was unredeemable. It was unredeemable. That means that there was no spirit that could elevate. There was no ability to harvest, do any harvesting. Verse 2, but thou shalt not suffer one to escape, for they have migrated to this division of the earth because of its sumptuous productions. Better to feast their evil desires. Verse 3, and thou shalt spread a net around the borders of Waga against the line of the ocean. Okay, so that's the account of the sinking of a continent right there. That's not what I want to look at. I'll scroll a little bit. You can read it, stop the screen. I'm wanting to look at false gods. I think the order of the day is to see if you are under idolatry or if you worship a deity. Verse 15, which is, now I'm always going to be jumping in the middle of a thought. Okay, I'm not doing context study. I'm trying to get right to the descriptions of false gods and what they do. Verse 15, which is manifested on earth, even as it is in those days in heaven, boasting of good works or of good prayers, but housing themselves about with earnings of others. Did not these false gods and false lords set up self and worship it, and the fruits of their inspiration and their slaves under? You know, this is I can get where it's going. It's talking about in our day and age, you could say it's talking about prosperity teachers. You know what? Keep prosperity teachers in mind when I read this. That's what came to my mind as I was reading. It's really merchandising the word. people merchandising the word in order for attention or riches of the word. You know, they merchandise the word. Now look what it says about them in verse 15, which is manifested on earth, even as it is in those days in heaven, boasting of good works or good prayers. Now here's a part where you could bring to mind false teachers, prosperity gospel, these types of people. It says, but housing themselves about with the earnings of others. Did not look at what the OAHSPE calls them, false gods, false lords, set up and worship it, and the fruits of their inspiration, and their slaves under them. Were angels they sent to rule over where the angels they sent to rule over mortals for the glory of their philosophy, wherein mortals also soon did the same things of themselves, which was, behold, there is no God nor Lord of wisdom in heaven and earth, whereby the doctrines of the false gods and lords overturned even their own kingdoms, changing heaven into Hades. But when the light of Jehovah came, ye and your God and lords were one with his voice. Wherefore ye have been preserved in victory, and now has come to pass that your God and lords have established a new heaven and a new earth for the glory of the Father. And he who labored so long in your love now goeth to the other wing of the battle, where your brethren toiling with those in darkness will rejoice to hear of your fruitful labors. So this is an account of some of the Creator dealing with faithful gods and lords, is what I could see to this point. Verse 17, then God turned to his right and said, Eloat, vice God of Jehovah, because thou wert robbed of thy division of the earth, even whilst thou wert in good work, Jehovah hath bestowed thee well. Thou shalt therefore hold the triangle of the gods of heaven until thy God returneth. Okay, so I don't know the triangle of the gods, what that means. What I see here is that there are good gods that there's a rebellion that goes on. And say like somebody, a president, and the vice president forms a rebellion and the president is thrown out. So this is the account here. False gods. They throw a coup. They overturn a god. There's an account of that in I think it's the book of Jehovah. And it gives a really good account, man, about leading up to whom the world calls Messiah, Jesus Christ. It gives an account about the conspiracy that took place, the conspiracy against the Creator, and how they got together. And then they had to deal with a problem because the mortals were asking, but what about our origins? And what about our, what's another question? The mortals were asking the false gods about, they were asking them questions that the false gods couldn't answer. So I forget where exactly is at, but the account was given how they got together, and they were working on their lie. And the lie that they came up with was the creation account in the book of Genesis. The OAHSPE, see how it forces you to get on one side or the other? It tells you what the false gods concluded, what they were going to say, how they were going to basically put the blame on man, saying that he disobeyed God. Now he had to be ruled over with oppression and vexation, and because he took of the fruit of the tree of life, so it's his fault. And it was a narrative that that the false gods put on mankind, so that men would not conclude that God is evil for them partaking of a piece of fruit or whatever. They wouldn't attribute it to the false gods. They would only have themselves to blame. See, that's why I'm telling you, man, the OAHSPE, it says the Jesus Christ was raised up to be to flog and flay the Israelites, to flog and flay them, because your conscience was going to be constantly kicking your behind that you are not good enough. Christianity, that's what it does to you. It always got you on edge. You don't know where you stand. You don't know what's going to happen to you. And it blinds you to the love of the Creator. You don't have no knowledge of your destiny. You got no knowledge of your fate. And the fallen, I'm telling you, man, I never thought I'd be saying these things. False gods, they will say and do anything. There is nothing there is nothing they will not do to keep your spirit in bondage. That's why many of you, there's no way you can receive this word. And I feel for you, truly. The Creator has allowed me and my brethren to see the deception. We can see it, and we cannot pull you out of it. We can't pull, maybe somebody. I wish that we could. I wish we could, but it has to be a work of the Creator. So let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. The account of the account of the false gods, and I forget the account of this. Why I came to this, I was reading. And I know it has to do something with the deception of false gods. So let me go to something else. Let's go to a fresh verse. Let's see what it says. Behold, there is no God nor Lord of wisdom in heaven and earth. Okay, verse 16. Whereby, we read that. Or no, we didn't. Verse 16. Whereby the doctrines of the false gods and lords overturned even their own kingdoms, changing heaven. Oh, I did read it. But when the light of Jehovah came, ye and your gods and lords were one with his voice. Wherefore, which means that's why ye have been preserved in victory, and now it has come to pass that, how there's a rebellion in heaven, that there are gods that they can start out good, and then maybe they have a coup attempt against them, and they overthrow a god, make it their own. You see that in the world today. Let's go to another verse, verse 7. And the next harvest of God and his lords was 200 million souls. After that, the earth passed through the age of Erskine for 800 years, and the light of the upper heaven was lost to earth and atmosphere, so there was no harvest for the Ethereal realms, and because of the darkness and atmosphere began to fall in Ada. And of the seven entities of Tekrat, took root and Horeb and overspread it. And many in heaven rose up, proclaiming themselves gods or lords, ordained followers, some to the extent of 3 million of souls. And these false gods made slaves of their followers, exacting service in lieu of giving pitiful homes and regiment, and by the labor of their slaves, embellishing their mansions and cities in Hada. Now, I want to say something that I get out of this. If you subscribe to the deity, you're going to slave for a deity in the spiritual. That's what I get. That's what I believe that the OAHSPE Bible is giving you to understand by giving us this account. Now, again, I'm jumping into the middle of it. I'm not doing a contextual study, but I think that I can deduce enough to share with you of the verse to point to spiritual realities. And here it's saying basically the followers are going to follow your God. And the creator is not, his kingdom is not a kingdom of rebellion. That's why I was trying to be redundant. You're going to have to admit who is your God. You are going to admit, you are going to confess your God. Many of you are going to say Jesus is Lord. That means he's your God. Well, you know what? He's a man. And the scriptures talk about no spirit born of woman. Let me see. Let me let it say it itself, because I've already gotten myself into enough trouble. So let's look at what I'm talking about. Oh, I don't want that. That's another way you could tell whether or not you're under idolatry, worshiping a deity. If you want to know, let's look at something, okay? Let's look at something. Born of women. I'm being redundant. I'm saying the same thing over and over again because I think that by far this is the most important issue. I mean, by far. I think this is by far the most important issue that's got to be dealt with. Everybody has got to ask themselves, am I worshiping a deity? Because they are able to be worshiped. Now, I'm not getting any references. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Now, let's look at what the OAHSPE Bible, what it says about people who worship spirits born of women. Spirits born of women? Let's read. It says, after that again, even the gods and lords will be forgotten. Man will turn against great Jehovah. So let's go back up. But there shall be other gods and lords after us, to deal with mortals and spirits newly born. After a while, there shall be great warriors and great cities and nations, and they shall have gods and lords of their times who will dwell many a weary year, aye, century, in the darkness with man. It says, after that, again, even the gods and lords will be forgotten, and man will turn against the great Jehovah, putting to death his adherents, preferring idols of stone and metal and spirits born of women. That's where we are today. We got mostly brethren who worship idols of stone and metal and spirits born of women, both women and men. That covers a lot of people. And he says that we prefer idols, and then he lists them. He says spirits born of women. Messiah was born, Jesus Christ was born of woman. He's not to be worshiped. He is not the creator God. People do not know that. Let's look at another verse about spirits born of women. 13, at last I rebuked myself, saying, fool, givest thou worship to man born of woman? Remember thy creator only. Remember thy creator only. Verse 42, from far over the water will I bring their kindred Jews who worship none born of women. And we have a lot of brethren in the Israelites and the Hebrew Israelites. They worship women. divine mother, pray to her. They overly acknowledge her, place her as the creator. There are brethren in our kingdom like that. Even women are born of women. I will chase away all gods and saviors born of women. Only the Great Spirit shall all men worship. So when you talk to somebody, they say, I'm a Mormon. You say, who started the Mormon? They say, whoever started the Mormons. And you say, is he a man? They say, yeah. There you know you're looking at somebody who's under idolatry. He worships a deity. You go to somebody, you say, hey, who's your God, man? They say, Jesus Christ. And then you ask him, was he ever born of a woman? Yeah, don't you remember? Virgin Mary? You don't remember that? But was he actually born or some other way? No, he was born of a woman, man. Where you been? Where you come from? Asking me questions like that. You go to the Prophet, you go to the Islam, you say, oh, who's your God, man? We worship the Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Was he did he have a mother? Yeah. And a father? Yeah. So he was born of women. They would look at you then. You know what I mean? You get my point? See, the OAHSPE is making it very clear. It's making it very clear. It's making it too clear. This is too clear. Feed them with thy story of a Savior born of woman. Who can shake their faith? Who can shake their faith? Or feed them with thy story of a Savior born of woman. See, again, you see that? The OAHSPE ain't going to let you stand on one side or the other. There ain't no middle answer. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get on one side or the other. See, that's where Creator said that I am going to separate the wheat from the tares. See that? See that? I'm going to separate the wheat from the tares. That's the first thing. In life, that is the first issue. I don't care what you say. I believe that, first of all, the world, the purpose of the fallen gods is to capture your spirit. That's all they want to do. They'll give you all the glory you want, kingdoms of the world. Just give me that spirit. Because when you cross over and they say, who is your God? On earth, who did you talk about? You say, the spirit born of women. Come on, come on. Go over there, go to that door right there and sign up for that kingdom over there. Who's the head of that kingdom? Anuhaja, Luamong. Who are they? They are your gods. But where is the Creator? Where is Jesus? See, you do need knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of it. You see that? Let's look at another verse. Born of woman. Let me go back to false gods. Let's look at some more of that real quick. I'm running out of time. Verse 18, but now I will build them up in a new way. Yea, I will appropriate the evil of their inventions to their own good in a way they dream not of. The false gods and false lords shall be arrested, brought before this judgment seat, and I will judge them by their own behavior and desires. Neither will I torment them, nor abridge their happiness. Send therefore my son, thy marshals, into the hidden places of these gods and lords, and say to them, Thus saith the host of heaven, come, my son, and inherit a kingdom in Hada, in thine own way. For lo, there is room for all, but that thou art not left behind, come quickly to Horeb. So this is confusing. It's like it's saying I'm not gonna punish you for the evil you've done, and I'm not going to, but I'm not gonna bless you. Let me see. Now I got to do some digging here so I can find out what's going on here. But now I will build them up in a new way. Yea, I will appropriate the evil of their inventions to their own good in a way they dreamed not of. He's going to turn what was evil to good, whatever's being done here. He said, the false gods, false lords shall be arrested, brought before his judge seat. I will judge them by their own behavior and desires. Neither will I torment them nor abridge their happiness. Send therefore my son, thy marshals, into the hidden places of these gods and lords, and say to them, thus saith the Lord of hosts of heaven, come, my son, inherit a kingdom in Hada. That's not good. That's not good. Hada, that's like hell. It says, in thine own way, inherit a kingdom in Hada in thine own way. For lo, there is room for all, but thou art not left behind. Come quickly to Horeb. And they will come. Now, that's this difficult language right there. Here, let me scroll it and let you look at it, and then you can make sense of it. I'm going to move on. Let me scroll it, and then you can dig into it. I'm not going to dig into it right now. So I just want to scroll it. Now, let's go to the next one. All right. That's still part of the same chapter. Let's go into the thick of it. Let's go ahead a couple of verses. Let me see. Let's go up. Apollo, son of Jehovah. Now Apollo, Apollo's interesting. That's during his age, beauty. The creator, he fashioned men more beautifully, men and women. He fashioned them more beautifully. And there was a problem because some people were preferred and some were not, and beauty was the idol. It became worshipped instead of the creator. Apollo, verse 1, Apollo, son of Jehovah, said, in Jehovah's name speak I. Apollo, God of Ethria. Hear me, O ye gods and lords, the power of the Father resteth in my soul. My words are of all wisdom. Think of this great matter, the growth of love. As man loveth his city, his country, what think ye Apollo hath forgotten? What think ye that Apollo hath forgotten? Have I not told it in Ethria? I sprang from the red star of the earth. Wherefore I shall not take pride before. Wherefore shall I not take pride before Jehovah, and hold up my head in Ethria, where I have neighbors that sprang from other stars. Shall a man forget his love because he is a god? Nay, truly. When I was immortal, I loved my neighbors. When I entered the second resurrection in atmosphere, I loved all the people of the earth. When I rose to Etheria, my love expanded to 1,000 worlds. But of all places, how can I make the earth and her heavens second in the love of my soul? Okay, so let me see. Now, verse 4, let me recall the philosophies I have overthrown. The false gods, false lords said, it is well that there be war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise, it would soon be too full, for they saw not the higher heavens. Their arguments were framed in a dark corner, and because of their evil inspiration, they gave mortals the same philosophy, saying, war is justifiable, lest the earth become too full. For these dark angels shut out from mortals the higher light of faith in Jehovah, justifying themselves in war and slaying of whom Jehovah had created alive by their behavior, thrusting condemnation in Jehovah's face for what Jehovah had done. Neither knew these mortal philosophers. See, spirits, mortals, fallen gods, fallen angels, greed, lust of the flesh, even in the spiritual man. So you can read this. I'm running out of time. You can read that. I want some good verses on false gods. Some good, powerful ones. Then filed in the room the 10,000 lords and lordesses. They had once been false gods and false lords, and of the ancient times arrayed in such gorgeous attire, now robed in plain white without ornaments. Marshals opened the arches of the Edivasit, but yet not a soul moved from his or her place. Then the great Apollo. So let me find something. Some more. Oh, the earth, atmosphere, and the heavens full of false lords and false gods. Wow. Let's see. Look at something else. And in many of these heavenly kingdoms, there are wars and anarchy, hells. When the angels torment one another endlessly, nor will these false gods and false lords and their subjects admit that there are higher heavens than their own. So there goes that pride. The spirits of the newly dead are captured and kept in ignorance of Jehovah and his vast creations, but made to bow in adoration and worship to the false lord or false god. And these again, being in contiguity to mortals, inspire them in the same worship which fits them in time of death, to fall as slaves in the dominion of him who they worship. There it is right there. That is the seriousness of worshiping a deity or idolatry or man worship. Worshiping anyone born of a woman. And that is full of people in the world today. That's everywhere you look, man. That is the number one thing that we got to get away from. We got to get out of that before we even have an opportunity, man, to draw near to the Creator, draw near to Jehovah. You see the fate of people who innocently worship idols? This is their fate. They're newly dead, and then they're captured. And then they kept in ignorance, man. That's the most terrible thing right there. That's the most terrible thing right there. You know, the angel, he come to you. He say, who's your God? You say the Bible. Bible. Well, who's God of the Bible? Jesus Christ. Who wrote that Bible? Wise men. Who were the archangels over those wise men at the time that they wrote what they did? What do you mean? I want you to tell me who were the gods and over what time periods did they rule over the children of men during the time of the God that you believe in? What time period was that? I don't know. You want me to tell you? Yeah, his name was Luamong. You know who Luamong is? No. He was the inspiration for Christianity. You know who the other name of Luamong is? No. Want me to tell you? Yeah. Christ. Christ. Oh, I know. You won't believe me, but you will now because you in my kingdom now. I'm Luamong and you belong to me. See how it goes spiritually? Now, I'm just trying to paint a picture of the seriousness of false gods. They got power to capture your soul, and you need a degree of knowledge to know you are not under a deity. That's the whole thing of what I'm trying to say. I'm saying it imperfectly, but Jehovah knows I am trying, man. I feel a burden. I feel that the time is short. I'm trying to run. I'm learning at the same time as I'm trying to share with you, brethren. I need help. I'm desperately looking for OAHSPE, brethren. My room, man, if somebody's listening, I'm begging you to help me and join me. Help me raise up, brethren. help me to learn. I believe that the time is serious. That will conclude the reading of the word. Let me see if anyone is in the room. I'll greet you and then close the video. Let's see. I know Olivia. Yep, my dear Olivia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, brethren, that will conclude the reading of this word. I want to give thanks to the Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for this opportunity to be a light while I'm in this reality. If anyone is listening, I have a room on Facebook called the Upper Room OAHSPE Bible Community, and you are welcome, man. You're welcome. Especially if you're a faithist, you can receive the OAHSPE Bible. I'm pretty much begging you to join. Pretty much asking you to help a brother and with your faith and the things that you are learning. I would love to have fellowship with you. So, brethren, again, thank you. Till I see you again. Video, peace be unto you. Shalom.